There are two game genres that I believe exist on two completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Comforting farming sims and fast-paced movement shooters. Why isn't there a game that bridges the gap between the two? And trying to combine two whole genres, if done poorly, would just leave with a game that's either half-baked or one that has all the weaknesses of both genres while having none of the strengths. However, if done well, I think there's a chance we might end up with something. A game called
farming, base building, movement, exploration, melee combat, spellcrafting, open world, roguelite. It's been over 3 weeks already since I've been working on Shadow Farms. Cramming all these features into one game, it would be fair to question how and why I actually would even consider this. Well, the answer is, I genuinely don't know. Shadow Farms finally broke through because I wanted to make a game for the Magical Girl Game Jam. I got 6th place, by the way. Those people really put up a fight. So to make sure I've actually done all of these things correctly and not developed myself into a corner, let's take a look at how all of these genres actually do things well. And by all of these genres, I mean two. There's one specific attribute that all genres need to get correct. For shooters, I'd call it version, and for farmers, I'd call it expression. For the main gameplay though, I thought about it. Movement shooters are really damn enjoyable, but the long-term progression is non-existent. Farming games are incredibly simple in the gameplay, but incredibly satisfying in long-term progression. So what if we grabbed all the satisfying gameplay of a movement shooter and then crammed it into the satisfying framework of a farming sim? So the gist is, you forage out, but to find seeds to plant, you gotta fight. But if you fight, you get to farm, which will help you with foraging, which will help you with fight. To justify those two genres, I gotta go hard on getting those two correct. Starting with, for those in the field, I'm sure the word game feel might sound a lot more familiar. I thought rhyming sounded cool. Why would this even be important for a shooter game? Well, let's take a look at a clip with and without game feel. But how does one actually achieve good game feel? Sound. That's all. The biggest thing about sound though is that it's completely invisible. It's incredibly difficult to notice good sounds, but it's insanely easy to recognize bad sounding games. However, the biggest part about it is how it reinforces the gameplay. Imagine if you probably never notice it, but notice how good that sounds. It makes everything. Step number 1, find a way to locate legal and ethical. Step number 2, there are two techniques I use. Variation is basically taking the exact same sound and just duplicating it. And audio stacking is just overlaying them on top of each other. If we take a look at this and stack these two. Step number 3, do this but for literally every single thing in your game. Here's my UI, for example. Congratulations, I just made your game 50% more valuable. In real life, whenever you smash an orphan's face, you probably expect juices and stuff to come out. What the hell was I writing? So now that we know how to make Shadow Farms sound nice, we made it look nice, we can't really make it taste nice yet. How do we make it feel nice? I'd like to introduce you to Coyote Time. Number 1, I genuinely hate how much people keep talking about Coyote Time like it's the only thing to describe how game feel on inputs work. When you go into Celeste, if you slightly fall off an edge, you can still jump as if it's your regular jump. Reason why is because it's not forcing you to be super precise, but more so giving leeway to the players on their intended movement. Shadow Farms doesn't have any Coyote Time. What it does have is comedically massive hitboxes. What's the point of this section again? Add all of those up and what we get is an incredibly satisfying combat system. That only took 6 months and that's why we don't have farming in a farming game. If I decided to regret the farming plan halfway down the line, all I would need to do is actually copy and paste this entire combat system to any other game. How this combat game, let's say, could be a walking sim or perhaps a visual novel. Now with expression, it's a bit more different. Cozy farming games tend to do much better with comfort. To be honest, I'm just making shit up at this point. For shooters, every single second of gameplay is crucial.
You didn't do a perfectly frame executed slam fist forklift.
In farmers, it's It's kinda chill knock. While the moment-to-moment gameplay in farming sims are a lot less impactful, almost all the things that you do have major ramifications that could last days, months, hell even minutes. If I decided to plant a tree here, it's gonna be there forever. Don't ask how. In games like these, you're kinda just free to build up your base or whatever way you can because there aren't really any major consequences to it. Nothing's out there to kill you. I do not own your home address. Due to the sheer lack of a player state, players are kinda just free to do whatever. Ever considered why Stardew Valley doesn't have a meta? I mean, think about it. Reason why that tree has major ramifications later is because you're not gonna be the only one tearing it down is gonna be you. And there's no rigid meta or perfect build 99% win rate to conform yourself to, so kinda allowed to express whatever style you want. Shadow Farms doesn't have a meta because all the builds are equal in being complete garbage. What if players customize their builds? By customizing their builds. If you take an image of a farmer and slap a tactical suit on them and an assault rifle, and you take another image of a farmer and you give them a pitchfork, you would probably expect them to be specialized in different ways. Like the pitchfork user is probably more suited towards melee combat. Hear me out here. Rather than attachments to guns and weapons, we just have the buildings do the actual stat buffs. Not only does it let you express your aesthetic choice, but your aesthetics influence your playstyle. And that goes all in on damage and DPS. Could have like a really rugged, barbed looking farm, and then another one that specializes more on economy, probably has a prosperous one with flowers. I am not modeling all of these, by the way. You could give the exact same video game to hundreds of players. Every single player ends up with something unique, something to their own. I think that's the greatest thing about them, really. Give Minecraft to my uncle and you would end up with 400 swaths. Combining these two major genres though, there's been one core piece of doubt I've always had. Who is this even for? There's probably a Venn diagram out there with one side more into the cozy genre and the other being into something more intense. Rest assured, that overlap is minuscule. So how could we bridge that gap? Is it even possible? Because if I create a perfect game for each genre, how would I convince the wider two circles to be a part of this game? Well, we can't. At the fundamental core, they simply give different rewards and challenges that people wouldn't vibe with. Sure, I could go all in on one, but if some poor 6-year-old would rather play a game about feeding hamsters instead of a game about whatever the hell even happens at the end of their lifespan, seriously, combining them together, imagine if I had to put all the depth and I bring that to the hundreds of mechanics that I need to make. It's simply not possible for a solo developer. What's the point then? Did I just waste years of my life for this project? Have you ever noticed that I have yet to mention roguelikes? Rather than relying on an existing circle, I'd rather take the risk of creating my own permanent death, meta progression, procedural generation. When I started out this project, people easily assumed, oh, by day you'll be farming, by night you'll be defending your farm. It's not unique to me. By day, you'll be within the confines of the sanctum, safe from all harm, but to cultivate your growth, you'll have to go out into the calamity. In a roguelike, no matter what you do, you'll be bound to lose everything. And when you have everything to lose, there is no uncertainty with failure. However, you get to keep a fraction of that power you find. In the sanctum for my game, you might only have wilting flora at the start, but slowly, with every single run you go out there, you'll cultivate a little bit more. The severe difficulty of the calamity gets a lot more tolerable. Your farm could be as barren as possible. You could offset that with the skill and knowledge that you discover for yourself, or perhaps you don't have the energy and all of that. It might take weeks, months, or even minutes, but through a bit of repetition and consistency in farming, you might cultivate a farm that'll offset all of those challenges. I don't know if this game will even work, to be honest. There is one way to guarantee it though. I'll need your help, however.
Grant me your wish list.